Okay, guys, so got that iron sorted out. Got that good 25 to 230 yards zero, and confirmed it with gear on. You know, when you're sighting your weapons in, it's a good idea to do it with the gear you'll actually be using while you're wearing the weapons. And I don't know if you could tell on film, I haven't reviewed it yet, but I was wearing this kit bag while I was up there shooting, so I have a very confident feeling about where that rifle's hitting with those irons now. You know, part of the difference between shooting on a range and shooting in the field is just being able to see the targets. You know, I think sometimes we get used to the range, you know, a nice public range or whatever, and usually you can see the targets easier, or we put targets out that are easy to see, high vis, high contrast targets. We're out here, you know, even with a solid white 12 by 18 steel target, because of the bright sunshine today against this very light tan grass, you know, I wish I could show you what it looked like through the irons, but it was basically like trying to find the white spot amongst all the light tan spots and just aim in the center of that blob. So it was kind of it was a bit of a challenge. You know, I wasn't fast doing it, that's for sure. It took me a while. I really had to make sure my natural point of aim was good. Really had to make sure that nice trigger squeeze and everything. Oops. But, you know, that's, I guess, just testament to if you apply the fundamentals, you should have good results, you know, assuming your equipment's squared away. I'm just going to go ahead and get some more magazines loaded up. Now, hopefully I can get this scout scope zeroed in a little bit quicker. I'm going to do the same thing, though. I'm going to zero that center crosshair at 25 yards. And then I'm going to take it up on the other range, put that center crosshair right on 230. So I just want to detail kind of these worn scope rings real quick. They each have this lever on there that we can loosen the ring up. And they have this nice full width stainless steel crossbar to engage on the pick rail, and I like that. So I've got on the rifle itself, just from dry firing it already, I've got some markings on where the scope needs to go. So I can just put it on like that. Make sure it's engaged. See how I'm pushing up on it with my rear thumb, or my thumb at the rear? That's just to make sure it's engaged all the way in the slot against the front of the lug there. Just tight like that. Here you can kind of see the clearance I was talking about with that front sight post. And that's just, you know, if I would have gone, these are medium rings, if I would have gone to high, I wouldn't have that issue, but it is what it is. It still works, so I'm not going to get too worried about it. So all I'm doing, once again, is getting the center of the crosshair on this BDC reticle zeroed at 25 yards. Then I'm going to go up and confirm it at 230 yards, just like I did with the iron sights. And that's particularly important with this scope because it's second focal plane. And that means as we change the magnification, the subtensions on the reticle change. In other words, you know, for the design on this scope, you're supposed to zero that center crosshair at 200 yards. And then on 7 power, that means each of the subsequent hash marks would be 3, 4, 5, and then the top of the duplex post would be 600. Now, I'm not using a 308, so it's not going to line up quite like that, and I've got the software and stuff to calculate what my holdovers will be. That's how I know to zero this at 25 yards and then confirm it at 230. And the nice part is on this second focal plane, regardless of what magnification I'm on, whether I'm on 2, 7, or something in between, that center crosshair, that center point, is always going to be dead on at 25 and 230 yards. And I'm always going to hit within that 8-inch circle out to 280 yards. So I can make quick shots, really out to 280 yards without needing to worry about the BDC or what magnification I'm on. And I really like that, especially out in this, terrain where if you're down in a draw or a creek bottom, you might only be able to shoot 50 yards. And then suddenly you pop out in the open and you can shoot 3, 4, 5 or more. So I really like that flexibility and that no math. It keeps it simple, right? I'm a big fan of the KISS principle, which is, keep it simple, stupid. And when you're out hiking and tired and cold and wet and hungry, you get pretty stupid. You might not be a stupid person normally, but you get out here and run around for a few days and you might start doing some stupid things. And so having that math and other thinking taken out of the equation is good. I haven't really had a chance to adjust this scope for eye relief. I've got it close, but I may play around with that a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of right at the edge of the eye box. I'm gonna go ahead and clear out. I'm gonna adjust that. Okay, so what I ended up doing is actually just loosen these rings and move the entire scope back one slot on the Picatinny rail. And that seems like it's gonna work pretty good. Okay guys, cleared out there. Go ahead and go measure real quick because I don't have a milling reticle in this. So I'm just going to have to do the math real quick to figure out what I need for adjustments. So I just did a 2-round group. With an optic, I'm a lot more comfortable knowing if I have a good group or not. So looks like I need to come down 4 inches and over about 1 1.25. We go down 4, left 1.25. Mark my holes. All right, I'll go make those adjustments and see where we're at. Okay, guys, so I went ahead, made my sight adjustments. I ended up doing these are quarter MOA turrets, so 1/4 inch at 100 yards. Since we're shooting at 1/4 that distance, that means each click is 1/16 of an inch at 25 yards. So I ended up moving the sights 64 clicks down and 20 clicks left. So we'll see how that turns out. Okay. So looks like windage probably come over a couple clicks, and then elevation. I'm going to take some elevation off. I forgot my tape measure, but about 16 clicks off. So I'm going to go 16 up. Probably, let's go, I don't know, maybe 4 left. Okay guys, I went ahead and fired that last group. So they were here and here. I'm pretty happy with that. I know this last one was kind of, I could tell my bipod is, like all the dirt underneath my bipod is getting pretty loose, and it didn't feel like a real great shot. So I think it would be a little tighter otherwise. So I'm pretty confident in calling that good as far as 0 on this. So I think what I'm going to do now is go ahead and remove the scope and reinstall it on the rifle and see if my group changes any. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to mark exactly which slots this is in to make sure I get it back in the same exact spot. Okay, scope is completely uninstalled. Go ahead and reinstall it. All right, let's see what she does. Just spending a little extra time really making sure my natural point aim is good. Okay. And it did awesome. So that was one round. It's actually 2 holes there. There was a hole already and I hit just below it. And then I hit right there. So if anything, I shot better after I took my scope off and put it back on. So, okay guys, I'm back on the target detection range with our 230-yard white silhouette. Get my big finger in here. It's just off to the left edge of the center of your screen here. Try and get it. That white silhouette I was shooting on before. So I'm going to try and get 2 rounds on steel. And then from there, I've got some other targets that are hidden out here. And I'll use up the rest of the mag engaging these camouflage targets, just kind of testing out the BDC to see how accurate that is based on the data that I've kind of produced so far. It's definitely a lot easier to see it than it was with irons. Wow. You know, and I'm not even on 7 power. It sounded like it was right off the edge of the target. Really surprises me. And all I can think is that the wind is starting to push the bullet at that distance. I'm going to aim on the left edge. Okay, that's what it was. So the first 2 rounds I aimed dead center for windage on the target, and I didn't hold either way. The last round I held on the left edge of the target. Now, if you look at the grass where I'm laying, it's about a half value wind already. The problem is when that wind starts to hit basically against the wall of that ridge back there, that ridge starts to turn that wind. And so it's actually increasing the wind to the right. There we go. So it's kind of a timing thing, trying to time these shots in the wind. There we go. Okay. So that one I held dead center because there was no wind right at that moment. Well, guys, I appreciate you joining me for another video. You know, we went through zeroing the irons and zeroing the Scout scope. Now, overall, the Skinner Scout rail with the sights, they're good to go. The Warren QD rings, they're good to go. The Hilux LER scope, I believe it's good to go as well. The only issue I'm having is that because of the combination of basically this A2 front sight and just the size and shape and the height of my rings, I'm having a hard time. I can only shoot this scope up to about 5 power, and then the eye box gets too tight and I have to crane my neck way forward to get good eye relief, and I don't want to have to do that. So I've got some thinking to do. Now, on my 30 millimeter tube conventional scope, I'm running high rings, and I may have to do the same thing with this. I may have to switch to high rings so it'll clear this A2 front sight post, because I don't really want to shave it down any further and go through the whole process of re-zeroing this, re-zeroing these iron sights. But anyways, I hope this was entertaining. I hope it was educational. And if you're interested in coming out here to Eastern Montana, getting some good marksmanship instruction and some professional level land navigation and survival and bushcraft training, I've got 2 Fieldcraft classes this year, and I've got room in both still, and I'd be happy to have you out. And I promise that it'll be money well spent, and it's going to be training that it's very hard to get other places. That's one of the things I offer is the location. My training grounds is 7 square miles of eastern Montana Badlands. And here you can see the range that I've got. This isn't even all of it. All of our land nav training takes place over a very large area. It's the kind of land navigation training where you can actually go out and get lost and learn how to figure out where you are again. I have guys by the end of class, they're finding essentially, beer can sized objects in the dark with just a map and compass. So, I really encourage you, if you want to get out and get some solid training and the kind of stuff that's very hard to get other places, hit me up. Thanks for watching.